This video, I'm going to be exposing the exact cold outreach system I'm using right now to land $3,000 to $5,000 per month retainers for my brand scaling agency. It's literally easier than scrolling on TikTok. Okay. Now here's a $5,000 wire I received just a few days ago by using the method I'm about to break down to you guys right now. And you're probably wondering, well, what do you mean it's actually easier than scrolling? Well, the system I've laid out for you guys in this video is simple. It's blunt. Your DMs get more personalized, which ultimately removes friction and forces a micro decision on the business owner. Okay. Now here's the psychology flow behind it. When a business owner has some sort of curiosity around your offer, they might make some sort of small commitment, which might lend them to get onto a call, which you can then close them and make money on, right? And there's only two things we're incorporating here, just personalization and simplicity, which is ultimately going to increase our response rate. All right. Now, you're probably wondering, how do we actually send these to these business owners? Well, I'm about to show you right now, okay? Now, this is what I call kind of the burner method. Now, how this works is essentially you find some sort of niche. It could be whether it's an e-com or service-based, it truthfully doesn't matter. And you're going to look for profiles that have some sort of obvious issue. Now, whether they have no website or their pricing is bad or their CTA is bad or their bio doesn't really make sense, right? Or just doesn't look clean. You can really use those to call them out on and do some sort of opener because it's a lot easier to conversate about that than just pitching them straight up front, right? Now, for example, hey, I checked your site, noticed a couple things that would hurt ad conversions. I run ads for service-based businesses. I could do a 7-day free test if you want, right? You're saying, hey, I've seen a couple things that might hurt your ad conversions. Now, you're not being super specific, but they might be intrigued to hear what you might have to say, which can lead to a conversation, right? And that's ultimately what we're trying to do here. Another one is quick question. Are you getting consistent leads from ads right now? Yes or no. It's pretty much calling them out. Hey, yes or no. Are you doing it or not, right? If not, I can run a 7-day free test for you. Another one, for example, here, are you getting 5 to 10 calls a week from ads? If not, I can help fix that with a 7-day free test. Now, of course, all these can be swapped around for e-com. Like, hey, are you getting 5 to 10 sales a day from ads? If not, I can help fix that. I'm just saying for this instance, service-based, because I've told you guys a million times before, service-based is a lot easier to sign clients rather than e-com, especially if you don't have results. So another one, for example, your service can convert way better with the right ad angle. I run ads for businesses like yours and can test it for 7 days for free, right? And of course, here's some other two ones that you can kind of experiment with and play around. And to be honest with you, you can kind of tweak these out in ChatGPT upon your liking and even generate more openers just like these. But these are just some example ones I have for you guys today to kind of start that conversation with the business owner by using this kind of little burner method. Now, here's where things get even better, okay? This is where you're really going to be dialing in these leads right here and doing like that perfect cold outreach in my eyes, all right? Now, personalization is absolutely everything. When a business owner feels like you're actually personalizing the message towards them, they have a way higher chance of even opening it and starting a conversation, right? Because if you paste the same old copy-pasted script as everyone else, right, you're not unique, and they've probably seen a dozen times before that, right? So why are you any different, right? What makes you stand out from everybody else? And if you guys have watched my other videos before in the past, if you want to land clients and make money in this, you have to be unique. You have to be different from everybody else, because if not, then what's so special about you, right? Now, for example, okay, here's a little personalization, like kind of template here. Now, of course, you can kind of play around with these and kind of put your own little twist on it, but you can say, hey, I love what you guys did with whatever, some sort of compliment, quick thing I noticed. Here's a specific issue. I can fix that and test it with ads over 7 days. You cover the ad spend, I'll handle everything else for free. You mentioned the free thing there, obviously intrigues them a little bit more. Do you want me to set that up for you? Now, they kind of give this straightforward answer of yes or no, which is ultimately kind of saving you time, saving them time as well. Another one, and to be honest with you, this is the best right here. If you guys want to make your cold outreach as personalized as humanly possible, voice and video notes are where it's at, okay? You can make them 20 to 30 seconds long or even longer, to be honest with you. You can send them either a voice or a video note, completely up to you. Now, for example, okay, hey, my name's Harley. I saw what you guys are doing with whatever. I had a quick idea that can bring in more leads using ads. I'll test it for 7 days. You cover the ads. I'll handle everything else. Want me to give it a shot, right? Now, when you send a video note to some sort of business owner, think about how personalized that is, okay? There's not many people out there doing that because they're scared to do it, or they just don't have the consistency factor of doing like maybe 30 to 50 of those every single day. Now, don't get me wrong. It's ultimately going to take a lot longer than just copying and pasting a script, which, you know, I understand completely, but your chances are way higher of just sparking that sort of conversation than just copying and pasting what everybody else is doing, right? Now, here's where the real money's actually made, okay? Now, I think this is where a lot of people kind of get mixed up, is they think that follow-ups are just kind of boring and that they don't feel like they need to follow up, right? This is where the money is made right here, okay? I've talked about this before dozens of times in my other videos. Now, on day 3, you could say, hey, whatever, I'm just bumping up my last message. And then another one is cross-platform. So you can essentially just send them some sort of message similar to you sent on the other platform. So for example, if you DM them on TikTok, you could DM them the same thing on Instagram. It might boost the chances of you actually getting some sort of response. Another one on day 7 area, maybe even sooner, completely up to you, is sending some sort of screenshot or testimonial from one of your previous clients, or just something that somebody had good to say about your services, right? Because that's ultimately going to give you some sort of value in actually wanting to work with you. Now, the last thing is the final check-in, which is pretty much just the deadline offer or the scarcity/urgency kind of time, where you're pretty much just telling them, hey, look, like I only have a few more spots where I'm doing this free trial. If you want to get in on this, let's do it now, because if not, I'm not going to have any more spots open, right? Now, that's once again just kind of like that fake scarcity and urgency, which some people might fall for, others may not. But to be honest with you, sometimes it works. So might as well just give it a go, right? Now, the actual second process here is the most important in my opinion, and that is actually converting these guys from the trial, like I mentioned earlier in this video, providing the proof, and then closing these people. Now, once you guys get these through the DMs, your goal is to get them on a book call, get that 7-day free trial, and then this is what it should look like right here, okay? Now, the 7-day trial, the client's going to be paying anywhere from $20 to $50 a day, depending on the niche, of course, but roughly, let's say $20 to $50 a day, okay? You're going to be communicating with the client, sending them one sort of screenshot or sentence to the client about what's going on currently with their ads and keeping them in the loop, all right? And you guys should have some sort of KPI here, whether it's calls, sales, leads, and you should probably set that before even actually starting the ad. So if your goal is to maybe say, okay, we want to get 30 leads this month, all right, then you should try to get 30 leads. Now, the main important thing about this here is that you want to actually convert off measurable proof, okay? Now, if you set some sort of KPI, you need to be able to follow that, right? Because you think from the business owner's perspective here, if you're somebody who's making these promises, you better be able to back them up, right? It doesn't make sense if you're trying to make these goals and whatnot, especially if you can't meet them at the end of the month and you're saying, oh, hey, the free trial is up now, like, I'd like to get paid. Like, no, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to generate results, have measurable proof showing that you know what you're doing and you're meeting the goals between you and the business owner, which is ultimately going to make them more comfortable in actually wanting to pay you X amount every single month, whether it's $2,000, $3,000 a month and or more, right? And here's kind of like a sample closing line you could do here. For example, okay, look at day 4. We're already getting X amount of leads at YCPL. Retainer starts Monday. Now, you don't really say retainer starts Monday. Just say like, hey, you've seen the results. You know exactly what we're doing and what I'm capable of. Like, let's see what we can kind of do long term and go from there, right? And what I really want to remind you on again is that you close on proof, not promises, okay? A lot of these guys I see in the brand scaling space is unfortunately giving a lot of promises out there to these business owners and then not being able to back that up, all right? They make these crazy, outrageous offers to them just so that they can get that bite for the free trial. But the thing is that they don't actually end up converting them because they don't deliver. They're not actually delivering those good results because they're falling behind on not actually doing the KPIs that they originally set when they started working with the business owner. Now, like I said, if you're guaranteeing some sort of business 30 leads or you're going to give them a refund, you better give them a refund if you're not giving them 30 leads, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, that's exactly how I'm doing it, is that I'm setting some sort of KPI between me and the business. And if we don't meet that, I'm literally willing to give them a full refund. Like, it's literally that simple because it gives them literally a no risk offer. It's okay, you're going to pay me for my services. I'm either doing good or you're getting your money back. Simple as that, right? That's a no risk offer, an absolute no brainer for any sort of business owner, okay? Now, the final step here is to actually scale this and to continue to get those $3,000 to $5,000 per month retainers is by actually having a team and setting more KPIs. Now, your KPIs could be things like CPL, book rate, trial, into actual retainer, and then the revenue per client per month, right? It just ultimately depends on what you want to focus on primarily there. And then ultimately what I would focus on is actually getting your book rate up and then eventually converting these guys into trials, and then your actual percentage from going from trial to retainer, because that's extremely important, okay? And then, of course, you know, at the end of that, you can figure out what rev per client per month, of course. And then this is the real money right here, okay? What I've always said before in the past is you should have kind of like a tier level to your actual pricing. Now, when you're a beginner, you should not be charging any more than $500 a month, especially if you're not really that familiar. If you are slowly kind of picking up and you feel like a little bit more confident, there's no point in just saying like, hey, let's call it $1,000 a month. But anywhere from $500 to $1,500 a month makes sense, especially if you're a starter. And then to actually scale that to start getting those higher numbers, like for example, $1,500 to $4,000 a month, is where like you're really going to start making that huge money there. Because of course, when starters, let's say you sign 5 people at $500, that's $2,500 a month, right? That's not that good. But if you have 5 people at $1,000 a month, that's $5,000, right? It picks up really quickly there. And the premium services, kind of like where I'm at right now in my agency, is where I'm charging like anywhere from low end, depending on the services, of course, which I have a team, which I'll get into in a second. Low amount is $1,500 a month. I do not accept anything lower than that. And if anybody says, hey, would you be able to do 1,000? No. Just doesn't even make any sense for me. We're a premium service. We offer insane deliverables. And if we don't deliver, then we give you a full refund. It's pretty much guaranteed, right? And I've had clients too where I have upwards of charge of $10,000 per month as well. It's not a problem. Now, The actual building order here is, for example, let's say you have a VA that's going to be handling all the DMs and outreach for you on your Instagram or TikTok account. I actually have one of my students right now who's doing my DMs every single day for me, sending out 50 to 100 DMs every single day. We have like a recorded voice note that we can send out to people through like ManyChat, and even videos as well. So honestly, that's kind of some sauce right there. I'll get into that in another video, but it works great, and I'll kind of get into that maybe like in a separate video from now. But another thing could be like a cold caller or appointment setter, right? For example, when you have a cold caller and you're cold dialing leads, you probably don't want to do it yourself. It's going to take a decent amount of time. You can hire people things like on Fiverr or even other platforms like that, or even just have a friend pay them hourly or something to dial like as many people as humanly possible, right? Another one, most important probably, is going to be a media buyer, because that's going to be delegating a lot of the tasks for you. For example, right now I hardly ever actually touch the Facebook and Instagram ads myself. Sometimes I do, depending on the client. If it's more of a premium client, I'm definitely going to be more hands-on and actually doing the ads myself to make sure that there's no issues. And then like in times where we have like a $1,500 per month client right here, we're usually just kind of handing that over to our media buyers, right? Now, another one could be like a creative lead or an editor. Right now, for example, if you're trying to get good creatives for your clients, you want to make sure that it's actually high converting ads. You want to make sure that you have some sort of creative lead or hire some sort of editor. Now, I have an editor. His name's Cristiano. Absolutely amazing. And lastly is having some sort of CSM to communicate with your clients and make sure that everybody's happy at the end of the day, right? Because ultimately, we want to make sure that these clients continue to renew with us every single month for X amount, whether it's $1,500, $4,000 a month. You want to make sure that they continue to pay you, because nobody cares if you just get paid $1,500 one time, right? It doesn't matter. Like, there's just not money in it long term. If you get paid $1,500 one time, woohoo, amazing, you made $1,500. But if you get them for $1,500 in 12 months, like, you know, it's going to sound a whole lot better. So you want to make sure you have some sort of person to communicate with your clients for you. To be honest with you, right now I am training my girl to be kind of like my CSM and communicate with my clients for me. One, because it's going to be a lot more easier to communicate with a girl, because she's just a lot more relaxing, more calming than your average person or manly ass dude who's communicating back and forth. And so, yeah, I'm kind of in the process of training her to do that right now. Of course, you guys should find somebody else. You can do them probably on Fiverr. You can probably hire some sort of VA to be some sort of client success manager as well. But ultimately, you want to make sure that you have all this sort of team right here in order to really scale and continue to make money. Now, obviously, the scaling rule here is that once you're working with these clients, you want to make sure that you're having a stable like 3 to 5 days within that trial where you guys are actually generating results and doing anywhere from like a 10 to 25% budget increase depending on the ad and whether it's actually performing or not. And then in that time of the 7-day free trial, you guys should have already delivered some really good results for them, truthfully, at the end of the day, right? Now, here's kind of like the entire formula right here. On surface level, it looks pretty simple, but at the end of the day, it's actually extremely difficult. If you're not following it, you're honestly missing out on a lot of money, all right? This is what I follow on a day-to-day right here to make sure that I continue to have clients that keep coming around every single month, and they pay me literally thousands of dollars, all right? So you guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed and gained some sort of value from this. If you guys have any sort of questions, comment them down below. If you guys are looking for a little bit more hands-on help and working with me one-on-one, click the first link down below in the description where you guys can apply to work with me. I'll be helping you guys who are all out with your agency, even if you're a freelancer, whether you're a beginner or already experienced. I can help you guys out in any part of your journey. But that's pretty much it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.